What is up, everybody? Chris here from Big Sports News, back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to bring you guys a quick recap of what happened yesterday, as well as a preview of what to expect in today's matches on Saturday, March 6th, going into our fourth day of the CDL Major. So looking ahead to yesterday's matches, we kicked things off with Atlanta FaZe taking on the LA Gorillas, and of course FaZe got the 3-0 sweep. A little bit surprising to see that they got the 3-0, considering how good LA have been this season, but of course, FaZe is one of the best teams in the game, so not really too shocking to see that they came out and made a statement, especially after having such a shaky performance when they faced up against the Paris Legion and the last time we saw them this season. Of course, in our second matchup of the day, it was definitely the match of the year so far. We saw Optic Chicago taking on the Dallas Empire, and Optic looked really great, but the Empire looked better. Of course, in the game 5, it went all the way down to round 11, but the Empire just took it. They game planned a little bit better going into the round 11, and Optic, they just made a blunder in the last round. So I think that was a really great showing for both teams, but definitely better for the Empire because they won. But nothing discouraging for Optic there. I mean, they looked really good. They lost both of the hard points, which is a little bit surprising to all of us. But of course, they won the control as we would expect, and they move on to 6-0 on the season, and they won a Surge. So that's pretty convincing in terms of the turnaround for Search, right? I said that they've been working on it. They've gotten a lot better. And I believe they are, well, they were on a 5-game win streak at that point, but obviously it stopped in the game 5. So we'll see how they can bounce back later on today when they take on the LA Thieves. But as things stand right now, I think they're in a good position. And of course, in our next matchup, we saw the New York Subliners take on the Florida Mutineers. Mutineers went up 2-0. They looked really good in the opening hardpoint and the subsequent search and destroy. But then the New York Subliners, they got it together. They show that they have really good composure, and they pulled out the win. Of course, winning 3, 4, and 5. They had the momentum on their side after they won the control, and that kind of built on itself going into the game 5, search and destroy on Miami, where they just looked better. Of course, in our last matchup of the day, like I said, the LA Thieves came back. They wanted to make a statement, and they wanted to prove to everybody that they are a top-tier team. They're not one to overlook. So they came out really hot, and they 3-0'd the Toronto Ultra. Of course, I'll show the ending of the control right here.
Up like flies, Slasher and Temp, the last two players up. Slasher finds the pick, and it's Temp from the other side who also is able to find one. 4 seconds left. They got to get on the point. They got to get there in time. Slasher and Temp gonna play this one correctly. No response for the other end. Temp is able to find a big one. Can anybody get to the hill? Cammy has to get there, and he does! Cammy with 0.8 on the clock, and Slasher is there to seal the deal. Back and forth, and a huge clutch from Slasher and Temp to close out the game in one of the craziest controls that we have seen on the season.
As you guys can see, the ending of the control was really, really exciting. Super hype. One of the most hype moments we've had this year. Part of the reason why I personally love to see control in competitive, it always leads to really, really exciting moments like that. And I hope that that continues throughout the year. I know some people have proposed that CTF be put in place of control, but personally, I like control. I think it makes for really exciting moments like this, and the highlights are what make this esport so exciting. So it was a great showing for the Thieves, but I think the Ultra on the other side just kind of ran out of gas. They were putting up a really great performance throughout the weekend. They were making a really great losers run, but you know, sometimes you just face a team who has something to prove, and that kind of stomps out your losers run, and I think that's what happened to the Ultra in this case. Looking ahead to today's matches, we have nothing but elimination matches. Of course, we are kicking things off with the New York Subliners taking on the Los Angeles Gorillas. And personally, I'm not really too sure what to expect in this matchup, but just given how things went yesterday, I'm favoring the Subliners. Of course, the Subliners are coming off a 3-2 victory, whereas the Gorillas are coming off an 0-3 loss. Even though they did play FaZe very close, map 1 was 250 to 220. Map 2 was not as close, but map 3, I mean, it also wasn't as close, but they were playing FaZe. So what can be said about that? The more important takeaway for me was the opening hardpoint. Gorillas looked really good in it, and they almost won it. So, and that was with FaZe popping off like crazy. I think Selim went like 32 and something. Like, he was putting up crazy numbers, and they still almost won it. So it just goes to show how good their teamwork is and how great their team comp is as well. So I think going into this matchup, the New York Subliners will have their hands full. The Gorillas could take it, but as things stand, I see the Subliners taking this one in a close 3-2. I think the Subliners will keep that game 5 energy going. I think they'll stay hot. And yeah, I think they'll walk away with this one. But on the same token, LA Gorillas have looked incredible this season, and I do see the potential for them to take it as well. So that one I would recommend that you guys hedge. It's a little bit more volatile than the other match today, which is Optic Chicago versus the LA Thieves. So recommend a hedge there. But personally, I'm favoring the Subliners. I just think that they are a better team in better form. I think that their team composition just kind of lends itself to a victory here. But on the other end, the Gorillas, they've looked really good. Fundamentally, they're, in my opinion, the most fundamentally sound team in the game. So it's hard to say. My heart says Subliners, but my head says Gorillas. So I don't know. Personally, I'll probably end up taking the Gorillas. I do think that given the momentum that they've had in this major, they are a little bit more favored to win this. Basically, the performance that they had against FaZe was kind of the deal sealer, if you will, for me. I think that they probably will win this, but I'm really just so unsure about it. That's why I was taking the Subliners, but I really can't say, honestly. So, of course, in our next matchup of the day, we will have the LA Thieves taking on Optic Chicago. And personally, I see this as another win for Chicago. They almost beat the Empire. Empire is a top 3 team in the game without a doubt. And I think that they'll continue that momentum going into today. Even though the Thieves had a lot of momentum coming out of their matchup yesterday, Toronto Ultra is not one of the better teams in the game. They just caught fire at the right time, in my opinion. So I see this being a pretty convincing win for Optic Chicago. Also, the Thieves were not looking too great in hardpoint this weekend, and Chicago will be looking to rebound in their best game mode. So I think that that will be a collision course for them. Also, they had great performances against teams like the Subliners and really everyone else that they faced in Split 1. Whereas the Thieves, they looked good, but the teams played them very tight. And of course, Dallas came out and 3-0'd them to finish their split. So they've been up and down lately. And Optic Chicago's looked pretty consistent apart from their loss to Dallas, which was a very close series that they could have won. So for that reason, I'm favoring Optic Chicago here. I think you take Optic Chicago money line, LA Gorillas money line, and hedge that with another bet with Optic Chicago money line, New York Subliners money line, and I think that should be good for today. Of course, our next matchup of the day will be our final elimination match, where we will most likely see Optic Chicago taking on the Gorillas. And in that matchup, I would say take Optic Chicago once again, no matter if they face off against the Gorillas or, of course, the New York Subliners. I do favor Chicago to take that matchup pretty convincingly. They just 3-0'd New York Subliners in their first matchup of the tournament. And LA Gorillas, last time they faced off against them, it was a 3-1 victory, pretty close. But Optic Chicago, I think they're just a better team in Respawn. And at this point in Search and Destroy, they've really ironed out a lot of their issues, and they're playing a lot better in Search. So I think they've gone back to the drawing board, figure out what went wrong in Hardpoint yesterday, and I think they will have fixed all those mistakes. So going into today's matches, we have some pretty exciting matches lined up, and I hope you guys enjoy all the action. So be sure to stay tuned to the CDL's YouTube channel. I will put the link in the description down below, and I hope you guys enjoy all the action once again today and tomorrow, and I will catch you on the next video tomorrow, bring you a recap of what happened today, as well as what to expect going into tomorrow's matches. So yeah, guys, I'll just about wrap it up for me. Once again, this has been Chris from Fake Sports News, and I'm signing off. Hope you guys have a great morning, noon, or night, wherever you may be on this beautiful planet, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.